a Telltale series is a Telltale series about Batman. It's the same guys who did Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, and all those. And you know, it used to be a very point-and-click adventure game with some puzzles, and it's really not anymore. Now it's just dialogue circles and action sequences, which I'm okay with. I think the puzzles really kind of slowed the games down. So there's still some Batman detective-y mode, and that was by far the slowest part of this first episode. But for the most part, it's a narrative-driven game in the Batman universe. And it's clearly not as far along in its universe. It's a younger Batman. He's just met Catwoman. Harvey Dent is still campaigning for mayor. He hasn't met all the villains yet, which at first I wasn't really a fan of because I'm like, oh, I don't want to see all the same Batman story arcs play out again, for goodness sakes. I like starting them at the end. That's why Dark Knight Returns is so cool. I like my Batman to be old and bitter and mean and brutal and through with everyone's crap and just being super brutal and having a deep, gravelly voice. Troy Baker is supplying the voice of Bruce Wayne and Batman, but it didn't take me too long to get invested. You know I love Batman, and I do like what they're doing here. I think it's predominantly a good episode. All the negatives come from Telltale and their Telltaleisms, though. I heard somebody say somewhere that it was a new engine finally, and I would be none the wiser if they hadn't, because holy crap, it's got the same problems. It's got the same frame rate hitching and freezing. It's got a visual style that just looks like garbage. You know, that kind of hand-drawn comic booky style was back when, you know, they had a low budget, like, and it was all they could afford in the time frame. But for goodness sakes, when you have access to licenses like Batman, Minecraft, Game of Thrones, and other video games, you're doing well enough monetary-wise that this is no longer acceptable, and your games need to look like real video games. And in that respect, I think the 2D hand-drawn style, it just looks super out of date and super lazy. And while you play through the game, you spin the wheel of frame rate to decide what it's gonna play at. It's all over the place. And the art style really kind of takes me out of it and doesn't really let me believe that this is a world with people in it. It feels like a cartoon's like, you know, if you wanted to do cheaper, do the 2D animated style, like the Batman animated series, if you don't want to do full rendered 3D models. At least that's more visually appealing. This just looks effing weird. Everyone's got, like, doodles on them. It's like you are a 3D moving character, but you're made of clay and someone drew all over you, and it looks retarded. It's like the voice acting itself is fine. What's cringeworthy are the character models and the facial expressions. People only got, like, 2 or 3, and it's like... And... I think Troy Baker's a pretty good Batman. When he's Bruce Wayne, he looks an awful lot like Sterling Archer. And the one thing visual about this game is I love his Batsuit. I absolutely love it. It looks awesome. The only thing I hate is his voice. It just sounds like he's changing it with the voice modulator so that it doesn't sound like him. But it doesn't sound scary. It doesn't sound menacing. It sounds weird.
Appears to be a weaponized nerve agent. Causes people to go berserk, turn violent. We need to act before he releases it.
I got a task force on it.
You already have one.
And in terms of the gameplay and the input, this game's got some serious issues. I went through an entire action sequence not touching the controller, and I didn't get hit once. 90% of the time, the button prompts are absolute jokes. It completely ignores your input. It's like, why are you even drawing this on the screen? Just let me watch an action scene. Every once in a while, you have to, like, aim, and it tries to make you use a cursor, and cursors on console analog sticks do not work, and it's shit. I think I only ever got killed once, and I had no idea what made that any different from every other time I missed a button prompt. Maybe I was playing it on easy mode or something. I looked in the settings, there didn't appear to be a difficulty, and it didn't ask me anything up front. There's a little part where you like mark out where you want to throw everybody with a drone, and then you'll do button prompts to like throw people through here and do batarangs here to try to like formulate a plan of attack. That was kind of cool. But, you know, don't expect an action-heavy Batman movie. This is a Telltale game. It's about the dialogue and the acting. You will spend most of your time as Bruce Wayne, not Batman. And what else is effing dumb is the stupid little timer bars. For one, because I thought, hey, my parents, they don't play video games, but they like Game of Thrones. Of course they do, because they're old people. So I thought, hey, I get them the Game of Thrones game, and it'll be the one thing without any, like, weird controls that they'll be able to do. You can push a button to pick a dialogue choice, but the fact that it's timed is just stupid. You do not have enough time to read them all and weigh out your decisions, and I don't know why it's trying to make you feel rushed. I guess it's trying to add tension, but it's just frustrating. What constantly happens is I push a button for a choice I don't want to do, and I have to reboot the game to do it again. The first really good conversation is when Carmine Falcone comes into your house for a fundraiser you're throwing for Harvey Dent, and then it's like, what's this mob boss doing in my house? And there's a lot of good back and forth with that. I also really like young Cobblepot. He does not look anything like the fat penguin British dude. He's this young, hipster-looking guy, but he was cool. I liked him a lot. But I guess because it's a Batman game, you have to bring up the death of Bruce Wayne's parents every effing chance you get. They do some cool stuff with the Wayne family legacy. That was actually a nice twist with, in terms of DC stuff. It's like, oh, I did not expect them to go that way. And they leave it on a pretty cool cliffhanger for episode 2, which I do plan on getting the rest of him. It was good enough for that. I don't care about his parents. Like, for goodness sakes, the fact that his parents died is what made him into Batman. That's how he got over it, alright? When he's still moping around about it after being Batman, I don't buy that. And it's just, stop sticking that shit in my face. I get why people didn't like it in Batman v Superman now, because I'm seeing it everywhere. Overall, if you can get over the problems that Telltale games always have and still have, this does have, I think, some good story stuff. And I do want to finish it to the end, and then I'll give you a number when the whole season's out. In terms of a value proposition, this took me way longer than Abzu, and it was a quarter the price. Bye.
You have to be careful.
You're right. I should have canceled the event.
I know how much pressure you're under. I don't mean to add to it.
It's okay. I know you're only looking out for me.
If we make a suit that fits me, we can trade places some night.
Those who do get out, or God forbid escape, are even more dangerous than before they went in. Arkham Asylum is a cancer on Gotham. But today, with a sizable contribution...